I'm going to demonstrate a window going in here, and you start on a building, and you come on side, and you're going to put on the membrane. This here is a vapor open, water resistant membrane designed to become an air barrier. So it's an air and water resistant barrier together, okay? When you come to site, what do you think I'll have in my hand? Anybody? Yeah, right? I mean, whenever you apply anything, you need to consolidate the application surface. How you do that, that's up to you. We do provide a both water-based and solvent-based primer, but it's not the typical primer application. You do not go and roll it on like paint. It kind of works like a fuzzy roller, like dusting. If you take a low nap roller and a tray and you roll it out really dry, and then you run the wall, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to pick up the dust. So you're going to consolidate that surface. That way you maximize your vapor permeance and you maximize your adhesion. You can come over to the booth. I'll be happy to get into that more, but I don't want to sit here yapping because they're going to time me out and I won't get the work done. Right? That's not going to be cool. This is a fast corner they use on the corners. It provides you the protection on the corner. Imagine when you pick up a good old window and the guys want to plunk it down or you bump the sills, damage occurs. You don't have that problem. This is where you're going to get the damage. This is where windows drain. You don't have an issue here whenever there's deterioration. From I as a building science consultant, these are the areas that are critical. But we're going to start with these. Pretty simple. I'll take my sill membrane. I'm going to take 2 minutes and explain something. I know the rough opening size. You know the rough opening size if you're doing windows because you ordered the window. It's a no-brainer. So if you know the rough opening size, do you know the membrane size you need? So therefore, you can pre-cut all these for your entire project, and I do this, and you can label them. I bring them to site. I call them window kits. W1, W2, W3, la 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 la. Okay? The thing that's really, really interesting is you can do that in downtime. You can do that on a bad weather season. You can do that in the shop on a cutting table. But when you do your stripping on your window, they look perfect. Point is, what costs? Material or labor? Kind of a no-brainer, right? Everybody wants a raise, everybody wants a big buck. By doing this ahead of time, you cannot mess it up. The least skilled person can understand this install. But what's interesting is because it's an air and water resistant barrier, that unskilled person has an opportunity to put it on correctly and by osmosis starts to understand building performance. Because we need to educate our youth so they take our place later. I lost my hair and this is not blonde anymore, okay? So I'm not going to be here that long. So who's going to take over for us? We need to teach our youth, and doing things like this called planning is critical. And the letter P is incredibly powerful. See? See how that works? Propaganda, politics, performance, products, people, the letter P, okay? Everything's there. I'll start with the sill. When you're doing a self-adhered membrane system, which this is, self-adhered vapor open, you gotta work from the top down. Why? Everything has a reason why. Why would you want to work from the top down? Gravity, right? It's like pushing a rope. I don't want to push it uphill. Let gravity work with you, okay? I get this started. When people start a window strip in, what's the common tendency? Start at the sill. I start 6 inches up. When I lap my jambs, where do you think the water will drain from a window? Right here? Right here. So by lapping and ending here, I'm going to end above my drain point and keep it free and clear. You know why I did that, right? I can tie into it later. You want to install all your membranes in a single manner. Very simple to do. I can stop anywhere, anytime I want. If I'm doing penetrations, I can strip them in, leave a tie-in tail. You don't want a backlap. If you put the feathers on a duck upside down, it'll sink. Anybody believe that? Just say, I'm just reading the script, okay? So, I don't really actually want to kind of try that, but I'm going to let that go. I set up my sill. I have a horizontal surface that's intended to hold water. Is that agreeable? Agreed? So if I got a horizontal surface going to hold water, what kind of membrane do I want? Well, I want a vapor open membrane or a vapor closed membrane? I want a waterproof membrane, hence vapor closed. Kind of obvious, right? I'm going to use the Delta Flash, which is a waterproof membrane. Now, I've laid this out, and you can see these squares at this corner and this corner. I don't need that material. I don't need that material, fair? So, if I cut those two squares out, and I take my scrap and I make a gusset, I can load my corner so my jam will lap over, or I can throw in the garbage. I'm not going to. I can make these all day long. And the neat thing is, sometimes you get an invitation for a lunch. If you go somewhere fancy, you can stick it on as a tie, okay? Just saying. I mean, it's multifaceted, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick on these two gussets. This is something that I use for the detailing work of specifier membranes, and for a very good reason. It's called Easy Tuck. Anybody know what this is used for? It's a plastic pancake flipper from a Barbie set. No, it is used for tucking carpeting and stairs. Easy Tuck, okay? It's a great product for that. I take the gusset. I make sure I stick it out at least an inch. This is where this comes into play. This corner is where you're going to get air leakage. This corner where you get pressurized water leakage. Okay? This is where you want to get sealed. This is going to cap off that straw port that membranes make when they make that transition. one plane at a time. So you're putting this membrane in the sill. I just marked my center line here and my center line there so I can line it up. I've also got dry cuts that I can work through. This is a very critical corner that you have to get tight. Seat your outside corner. Make sure everything gets treated well. You're making an air barrier also, so you want to make sure that you track everything. Okay, so now we have a waterproof pan. The corners where that pinhole takes place is sealed in both areas. That was made from the leftover piece. I can take my salvaged membrane, again, I'll get that started. I'll check that I'm good. It has a split release, so it's kind of that halfway point. If I screwed it up, can I adjust it? It's a chance to recoup if you need to. I have to make my cut. So I make my cut. Now I'm going to wrap it around the corner. When you do a membrane work, you want to seat your corner. make a crease. Otherwise, you get this rounded application all the time. Okay? As I come across here, if I was to push this corner down, I'd end up working stresses all the way through. When you're doing self-adhered membranes, work from the middle, comb away to the edges, and that'll make your application quite simple. You can see that I'm shingled, and I've got additional protection at that pinhole for potential air leakage that we're going to try for higher performance. Again, I'm just touching it. I can still take it off. Once you work it in, you can't get it off. I want to make sure that I'm nice. I can line up here because I'm making a picture frame or a strip in. I can start. So I've seated my membrane. This membrane has an acrylic coating for additional UV stability, so sometimes the projects are left open for a while. If you have a material designed to meet a certain performance criteria and you exceed its exposure to UV, it no longer has that criteria. The end. Okay? I see my corner. Take the middle. Comb it out. Self-adhered membranes are designed to be fully adhered. That means you track. You should be able to see what's behind you. Otherwise, it's not adhered, right? You need to telegraph the surface forward. So if I know that there's boots, I can see all my products within that install. I can see the framing, okay? And I've talked to the framing, right? Okay? This is a high-performance air barrier system. I'm a certified passive house tradesman. I've used this on many a passive house. We all know the air leakage on a passive house is 0.6 air change. So it's really, really tight. So uncontrolled air leakage is managed well. Ventilation is controlled air leakage, right? So hope everybody understands that. Now, before I put the head on, if I did the head and I wrap that under, what do I have here? Right. So I got this pinhole, and you know, I have 6 kids, okay? So I've had to do a lot of ruthless things in my time. At Christmas time, these kids would peek at the presents, right? Where do you think they look? In the corners. Dad put gussets on the presents. Okay? You should have heard the mayhem, okay? Ruthless wins. So, the Delta band tape is equally as aggressive as the subsil membrane, and I use it to facilitate a gusset up in that corner. I want to put the gusset on now. Why? And why don't I put it on after? Yeah, shingle. I could put it after, but it wouldn't be shingle. And so what you're saying is, I'm going to put a material, stress it around a corner, and leave it open for the next 100 years. Or I'm going to shingle it. I'm going to shingle it. It's a no-brainer. Okay? Envelope is built from the bottom up. So you're going to build from the bottom up. That's why I have a receiver, so I can come up from the bottom. That's why the release is still here. When my field comes, I'm going to tie into it here. I can lap over the head. So I'm going to explain something. I am an educator. I'm from Canada, and I deal with builders and students and all kinds of people. And the best thing I like is about the human mind, okay? And it cracks me up every time, because you give somebody a piece of tape, and in their mind they think, if I go really, really fast, I'm going to make that corner. And you're going to go and try to make it tight to that corner. You can't do it. But watch. If you get a chance to watch people working tape in a corner, bend in half. Pretty simple. Take your paddle. One plane, tight corner. Done. My suggestion is to let it ride out about an inch. If you can ride it out more than that, for one, you don't need it. For two, it doesn't work out so well. You start to get all wrinkled. You're stretching too much material around the corner. On the head, you're going to take your release down to the top of your window. Any idea why? Because I'm going to want to cut this. Here's my corner right here. Right there's my corner. I want to cut this across there and across here. Why? Then I'll get a lap down my inside corner. Right now, I got nothing. If I cut it there, it'll lap down. Commonly, people do this, and 9 times out of 10, there's no lap in that corner. I see my corner, always. I'm not sticking these on, they're not going anywhere. I'll take this, comb it to my corner. Shingled. Right into my corner, tight inside corner. Shingled application. All the windows will look the same. Okay? It's a good way to do it. You can pre-make everything. If you know the window size, you can make all the paper. I have builders that have taken courses and called me back and said, fantastic, this is awesome. Everything looks awesome. Okay? That's all I got. Because I'm out of time, although I love to yak, I'm out of time. This would simply tuck under. You would have this stripped in, a bank and window stripped in, and then you can fill in the field in between, and you can run this vertically and just run her down. I'm out of time, that's it. Thank you.